After the Sharma sizzling sixes on a Saturday evening, it's time for a really nice, lazy, easy, breezy Sunday afternoon. You're watching the most fun cricket show on the planet, Cricbuzz Live, and I've got two lefties who are always right. Two very relaxed, peaceful gentlemen, Mr. Zaheer, Mr. Parthiv Patel, who's upping his fashion game with every India win. So what's happening with you?
Nothing's happening. It's good that India is winning, so I need to change a bit of a look. And as Zach said, we need to increase the AC here so that I don't feel that heat, which is Pakistan is feeling it right now.
Yeah, well, what about Afghanistan? They play England at the Arun Jaitley Stadium. Another game that could possibly see a lot of runs being scored, especially if England bat first. But before we go to England, Afghanistan, I've been told that Rohit Sharma is still hitting sixes at the Narendra Modi Stadium. He's still not stopped.
Did you catch any? You were in the stands, I heard.
I couldn't. I was just completely in awe of what Rohit Sharma was doing. The best day of my life, sir.
So you're shying away from the ball, is that what you're trying to say?
I'd rather not.
Did any ball came in your direction or no?
I was too far up there.
Okay.
I had a bird's eye view.
No, but we all enjoyed his batting. How terrific his knock was. Just carrying on from what where he had left off in Afghanistan game. Just the intent was something which he's been talking about. The strike rate he's been talking about, and now he's just going out and doing it himself there to lead the way for others.
That Bumrah delivery, top of off stump, just kissed the bail. Is that now going to be part of India-Pakistan World Cup folklore?
Yeah, it will. I think that over actually, the two deliveries. I think the Rizwan ball also was very, very well executed, and this one, there was just a bit of hint of reverse swing, and Bumrah has been bowling really well, and then I thought the length which he was bowling was brilliant, and that is the reason why he could hit that length. And if you ask any bowler, I think that's the ideal way. That's what the coaches usually say. You have to find a length which goes on to hit the top of the off stump, and Bumrah has been doing it consistently now.
He's not just skill, is he? I mean, he spoke so intelligently about what he was doing after the game as well. One of those thinking cricketers, Bumrah.
Well, he has been always a thinking bowler. He likes to really get on top of things with regard to his bowling, with regard to the batter, which he is bowling to, understanding the conditions. All those things are always there. And like how I was saying, it's about the pre-injury and post-injury Bumrah. I think post-injury Bumrah is looking much more wiser, trying to use his skills more. Than just sheer pace and power, so that is something which is very evident. So it's been a very good run for him right now since he's made his comeback now after injury. He's looking to use all the variations. That outswinger to the right-handers is something which is very good. Is creating all sorts of doubts now. And if you look at his analysis also, he's hardly giving anything away.
Yeah.
And that is always going to put you in a strong position with the new ball. Then he's coming back with the old ball, looking to do that damage, looking to provide those breakthroughs, making use of the old ball. Those cutters are coming, the dipping slower one, Yorkers. He's got everything in his arsenal. So for India, we've been saying that it's going to be very important that Bumrah is in good form.
Yeah.
And he has shown those signs. So the campaign is going to look even better if he's continuing with his form, what he has shown so far in the tournament.
Yes, Jasprit Bumrah is all set to do what Zaheer Khan did for India in that victorious 2011 campaign. What about England and Afghanistan? England have won the toss at the Arun Jaitley Stadium and they have chosen to field first. But the brand of cricket England is known for, they had a bit of a setback in that opening game. They come here as defending champions. And the word from the camp was that we're not here to defend, we are here to attack. And despite that loss, Zach, the way they played in that second game just goes to show that that first game was an aberration and they want to continue backing themselves to play that brand of cricket. Has that been one of the most exciting, fascinating stories in white ball cricket over the last 8 years or so for you, England's approach?
Well, they are the defending champions and you go back to 2015, where they just understood what is required for them to make that impact in white ball cricket, and that process started way back there. It resulted in a win in 2019. They've been playing very consistent cricket in white ball. There is no doubt about that. The approach is something which is already been spoken quite a lot about. So in spite of losing that first game against New Zealand, I think you will not rule them out at all in the tournament.
Yep.
You know, they will find a way of staying in the hunt. Very consistent with the bat, so we have to see what happens. Their approach, their planning, their process, whatever you call it, it's all around scoring those runs.
Yeah.
So that is something which you will always expect every time England is taking the field.
Timid perhaps would be the wrong word, but in that first game they looked a bit cold. They weren't quite switched on. But just to see them play the way they did in that second game, Malan scoring the runs as well, just goes to show that the first game was only an aberration. This is the real England, one we saw in game 2.
Absolutely, without a doubt. I think, see, what England has done really well is just sticking to their process, which, that they've been very vocal about. They've been very vocal about how they want to play their cricket. And that happened in 2019 as well. They did not change that. Yes, they won the World Cup, but before in the league stage, they had also lost a couple of games playing that attacking brand of cricket. But they stuck to it because they believed in their plans, and that eventually they went on to win the World Cup. And here also, obviously, they lost to a good New Zealand side. You are batting first, you're not sure what kind of pitch you are playing on, and those kind of things can happen. But with, I think that a couple of teams which are very sure of their plans, which is one is India and one is England. England has their way of playing cricket. This is how attacking cricket we want to play. We want everyone to have strike rate in excess of 100, and that's exactly what they will try and do. And you have tested success with that, so there is no point going away from that, and that's something which you will see from England.
Win the toss and choosing to chase. Is that becoming the go-to tactic for most teams? Because we've seen batting beauties in pretty much every game, and this one has given us the most runs, the one in Delhi.
Yes, that has been the approach by many teams, and that will be the trend going forward in the tournament. There is no doubt about that. There is a distinct advantage if you are batting second. Dew might come into play. Yep. Even if dew doesn't come into play, with the evening temperature just going down a few degrees, helps you with the easing out that dryness of the pitch. Yeah. And that is something which most teams will look to take advantage of. Bowling in the sun in hot conditions is never easy, but you know that you are doing it for the team, and it's just going to put you in that little slightly advantageous position which we've seen. Afternoons usually the ball is gripping, so that bowlers have little bit to play with, and if the help is on offer, then you can take more advantage of that. But evening, except for Chennai, you've not seen that swing little bit, or that seam movement little bit. Yep. But that too, it's only that one phase of the game where that 8-10 overs is a tricky one. If you are watchful, you've seen it with New Zealand's approach in Chennai also. They were watchful, saw that phase through, and then things starts to ease out. So I think, yes, it's definitely going to be the trend going forward in the tournament. Teams winning the toss will look to bowl first.
And Zach, one more thing which I felt, that's a difference between the temperature in the afternoons and evenings. So it is so hot in the afternoon, you don't take your covers off so quickly. That's something which we saw yesterday as well. So that's when wicket starts a bit tacky is the word, and then a bit tacky, if that ball grips a bit, seems a bit. So yes, dew is the factor. Ball does come onto the bat nicely in second inning, but the other factor is also covers. They don't take it off very quickly. That's why wickets are a bit tacky.
66 meters and 58 meters, the square boundaries for this match between England and Afghanistan. No Ben Stokes, the talisman is still out, and I've just been told that Moeen Ali has not come back, and that means that England have gone in without change. Reece Topley picked up 4 wickets in that last game on his World Cup debut. David Malan, the man in form. Zach, would you have made any changes for this Kotla pitch?
Not at all. I think, see, when you're looking at this team also, you have enough batting and you have much more firepower with the ball. You have Mark Wood and Reece Topley. They both are someone who can bowl 140 clicks plus. So that gives you that advantage. Chris Woakes is someone who is very good with the new ball. Sam Curran, even if the wickets are on the slower side, can use his variations. You've seen him bowl those cutters. You still have option of spin bowling with you. Adil Rashid and Livingston can be very handy with the ball. So you have all the bases covered. And the brand of cricket which England has been playing, they give emphasis to players batting, contributing with the bat, and having that approach through and through.
Yeah.
So I think Root and Malan are those two guys maybe who they will look to maybe bat at a little lower strike rate than what they're expecting. But all the power players will be rallying around them.
You know, Parthiv, Harry Brook has been a fascinating story. We spoke about him at the IPL as well. He's yet to take off at this World Cup, comes in with a certain reputation, wasn't a part of their World Cup plans, but somehow made what one would call a backdoor entry.
Yeah.
How much time do you have for Brook? Because the moment Ben Stokes is ready, he might have to sit out.
Yeah, so he has to make sure that he uses this opportunity. Yes, don't look at the strike rate here because look at the average, because strike rate is something which you'll always find in these England players in excess of 120, 130. And so I think Harry Brook has he has now that experience of playing in IPL. He scored 100 also.
Yep.
So he got out twice to spinner in the games which he has played. So yeah, I think he'll have to make sure that whatever opportunities he's getting, he has to make sure he uses it. Especially on this ground, it's a flat wicket where I don't know whether he'll get a chance to bat or not, because England's batting second. But that's something which obviously he's been a talented player, and England had to find a way to get him in. So that means that England does believe in him, and that is the reason why they dropped Jason Roy and got Harry Brook somehow in the side. So the talent's there. He's got runs in Test cricket. He's got runs in one-day cricket as well. So obviously he's talented, but he has to make sure that he scores those big runs with that strike rate. If strike rate also comes down to 130, that's fine. That's a very good healthy strike rate as well.
Yep.
But average needs to go up a bit.
Is he the kind of X factor that, say, Surya Kumar Yadav is for India? If yes, how should England go about handling him? Because they clearly believe in this man's ability, wasn't a part of their World Cup plans, then brought in no Jason Roy. He's getting an opportunity while Ben Stokes is away. So how do England manage this man?
I think somewhere the management and the England selectors must be thinking about the long-term vision as well. World Cup is a big tournament, and if you have the opportunity of getting a player like Brook in right now, and then even if he doesn't play all the games, because let's look at a scenario if Brook today goes out there and scores a brilliant 100, and Ben Stokes is fit in the next game, what's going to happen? I think Ben Stokes will walk into the side. So what you want to achieve is a long-term goal as well. He's a very talented player. You know that he will be serving England for a while. So making use of this World Cup, it's a high-pressure tournament. If you can provide him some opportunities, so it's going to go a long way for their cricket. When you're looking at Jason Roy, you know that if he had come in this World Cup, maybe this would have been his last World Cup. So I think somewhere they've just inclined towards making use of this opportunity as well to give him that exposure to what it's like to be part of a World Cup. And as soon as Ben Stokes is fit, I think Brook will be sitting on the bench, and then Ben Stokes will come in. But for him, it's important that whatever innings he's getting, he needs to make it count. So that is the approach which we are looking at. 2 innings. He's not fired. If he gets the opportunity, maybe he will be promoted up the order. That's one thing also which we've seen from England camp. They're not going to stick to that batting lineup what you're seeing. If they're playing against Afghanistan, they get Afghanistan out cheaply and not chasing a big total, they might make use of that opportunity and send him up the order.
Yes, England is quite a fascinating story. They don't go with set templates. They make the mold and then they break the mold. Afghanistan have made one change. Out goes Najibullah Zadran, and in comes a brand new name. Ikram Ali Khil is a left-hand batter keeper, but I suppose Rahmanullah Gurbaz will keep wickets. Ikram Ali Khil is someone that we will get to know more of. He's a 23-year-old left-hand batter, so that adds a bit of variety in that batting lineup. But we've got to talk about their talisman, Rashid Khan. What is it about Rashid Khan? Is it unfair or wrong to refer to him as a white ball superstar? Should we now separate ODIs and T20s when it comes to Rashid?
It does. I mean, see, obviously, there are a lot of expectation out of him, especially because what he has done in T20 cricket across leagues, even for Afghanistan also. So, there are a lot of expectation. Afghanistan looking for, wickets from him, which he is not getting in T20 in one-day cricket. But there is another thing also. You need a support from other end when you are bowling as a bowler. That partnership becomes very important. So, But sometimes, all the batters are not taking those chances which they take against him in T20 cricket. That's when he gets that wicket. And another thing which I felt, which I spoke yesterday also, you need to get him in the game very quickly. Just try and, put him in that situation, put that pressure on him that we are relying on you. You are not our defensive option. You are our attacking option, and we want wickets from you. And we want you to attack throughout. Even 10 overs, if you give 70 runs, we want 3 or 4 wickets from you. And that's something which Afghanistan camp will have to tell him and change his mindset a bit, because I felt even last game against India, he was bowling a bit defensive. Yes, Indian batters were batting differently, they were batting attackingly, but you got to take wickets. You have to think wickets when you have a quality of Rashid Khan. You cannot take that step back.
He was brought in against India in the 15th over. Is that where Afghanistan are going wrong? Here in this England batting lineup, there's just one left-hander, the others are all right-handers, and look at his numbers against right-hand batters. Is there a case for him to bowl in the first 10, bowl a couple in the first 10? Because, I mean, where else do Afghanistan go if not Rashid?
Well, earlier the better. I think that's something should be the approach. I completely agree with Parthiv that how Afghanistan have been using him is that 25, 30 overs, he's not bowling till that point, or maybe 22 overs, which is too late for him. I think he needs to be in the game as early as possible. Mujib is going to bowl with a new ball. Farooqi has been also a little off colour. So if the game is getting out of your hand, then by the time Rashid comes, as a batter, you have the luxury of taking time against him, which puts him in a more difficult situation. Rashid prefers it when batters are coming hard at him. Yeah. And from that point of view, I think against England, he will enjoy bowling. He'll be a different bowler because he can expect the batter to take chances against him. Yeah. And that really gets things going for him. Then he can bowl a bit more quicker. Yeah. When batters are not looking to take a chance against him, then as a bowler, you got to make the play, which means you got to bring in more variations. You got to slow it down a little bit, maybe look to turn a bit more, all those kind of aspects which come into play in a ODI format. Yeah. In a T20 format, you can expect the batter to come at you every delivery, and then you are bowling at a different pace, you are rushing it through, and that's where Rashid is more comfortable. I think against England, he will be more comfortable because he can expect the batter to come at him, and that will get him ticking. So I think from today's point of view, from Rashid's just performance, I think he will make an impact on the game today.
Well, he's got a score to settle. The last time Rashid Khan bowled against England in an ODI World Cup in 2019, he gave away about 110 runs, which is his worst bowling figure. When a bowler goes from one format to the other and is struggling in the other format, how difficult is it to upgrade his or her own skill set?
I think, obviously, it's a different format. You have to, it is a shift of mindset also. It's just not that, like Zach put it across, that, when you're bowling in T20, you get into one kind of rhythm and you just keep bowling stump to stump. Here, you'll have to, create your scenarios. Here, you'll have to maybe, have to bowl series of dot balls, try and push, try and get your variation in. When can you use your variation? Is this the right time to use my variation? Where in T20, you can, keep on doing a lot of things. But here, you have to set the batsman up, which is, which Rashid Khan probably will need to do it. So I think shift of mindset and, the patience is important. Yeah. When you are, shifting your format to format from T20 to one day and one day to test, that patience is important. You have to, there will be opportunities, but you have to use them at the right point of time. Attacking mindset, but, with that patience and creating those dot ball scenario.
Has life changed for Premier spinners with this new rule of 4 outside the circle between 11 and 40? Is that making bowlers think, let me save runs?
Well, I think for a part-time spinner, it's not easy now. Yeah. So that's what, that's the big change. So if you are half an hour spinner, if you're someone who is just bowling 2-3 overs, earlier with the extra field protection, you could be more defensive. With 5 fielders in the ring between 11 and 40 overs, you got to be very precise in terms of getting your fields right. That does give you a little bit of advantage if you are a good spinner, because there are more chances of cutting singles, since you are forced to have that one extra fielder in the ring. Now, what it does, you've seen that in the middle, if a spinner is having a good run off, if there is help on offer, you will see that dot ball percentage going higher. Yeah. and that puts pressure on the batter, which results in a big shot, which can result in wicket.
Yeah.
So that's something which we've been seeing. But you got to be a good spinner to be able to take advantage of that, and you got to be brave. So all those aspects for a part-timer is becoming even more challenging. But if you're a good spinner, this is actually the best time to be, because you can actually either go for boundary or you can cut those singles and build pressure. And if there is a little bit of help on offer, it will pay dividends for you, and which we've seen. We've seen that those numbers for sure have changed in the time this rule has been in play.
Yes, Rashid Khan takes a lot of pride in doing what he does, especially when he's playing for his country. This time, though, in this match, England have won the toss and they've chosen to field first. Afghanistan batting first, haven't had enough runs from the top order. In that last game against England, we saw 121-run partnership between Hashmat and Azmat. I'm glad I remembered the two names. That's where the runs have come from. It seemed like if you are willing to prepare to spend time on the crease, the runs will come.
It will, and especially on a pitch like this, we've spoken about Shahidi, got runs, Omar Zai's got runs, the strike rate was, brilliant, the way they were batting, and they were actually, coming in a different position. They were actually, they promoted Omar Zai, who was batting at 6, and then they promoted him at 4. So yeah, that's something which is, Afghanistan is trying to do. They have rectified, they know that they need runs from middle order. That's when, they've made those changes. They changed the batting order last game. Now they've dropped Najibullah. I think he's been around for a while, so they've made another change there. Obviously, runs from top is very important. When you're playing this kind of on this kind of pitch, they would be expecting runs from Rahmatullah Gurbaz as well. He's someone who's been experienced enough now, has got runs in leagues all over the world. He's got runs in IPL. But yeah, I think runs in middle is something which is, Afghanistan needs it, because they have kind of bowlers. If they get to like 280, 270 like they did it against India, they can put pressure on teams. Yep. Though, India outplayed them, but it was not just a score. 270 is not just, push away score. If couple of wickets early, then you can put pressure on the team. So yeah, runs are important. The way this pitch is, it will be always about, scoring runs, and especially here on this ground in excess of 300.
Yes, they need more runs. The bowlers of Afghanistan need a bigger total to play with against a very dangerous England lineup. Now, Ajay Jadeja is part of the Afghanistan camp as mentor. Now, in an era where a lot of the cricket talk is data-driven, a lot of the insights are largely data-driven, they go by matchups and things like that, Ajay Jadeja belongs to a very different generation of cricket thinkers played in the 90s. What kind of value you think he can add, or he does add to this Afghanistan lineup?
Well, being a mentor is just about fine-tuning things. You're already in the tournament. He didn't have the luxury of time of lead up to the World Cup, working with the players, figuring out things. All those aspects would have made a different kind of impact. Now, when you don't have the luxury of time, it's just about fine-tuning things. That the phase of play which is important, which is getting runs on board and creating that scenario for you. How do you build it? That is something which doesn't matter which era you come from. I think it's just about understanding the game, understanding the mindset of bowlers, understanding the thought process, and how you can prolong it, and how you can make it work in your advantage, is something which any cricketer who is played at the highest level for a long time would know, because those are the talks which you see. That's how you go about doing your business. We've seen with Jad that he's been someone who was ahead of his time also with regard to white ball cricket. He had that understanding of white ball cricket where you can take advantage of how many balls remaining, how to approach it, different scenarios, which bowler you can target, those kind of things. It's just conversations.
Yeah.
So as a mentor, that's your role, and that's what he will be looking to achieve in his time with the team.
Mohammad Nabi plays his 150th ODI. He played the first ever ODI that Afghanistan played way back in 2009. I think it was against Scotland. Now, they've been playing this format at the top level for the last decade and a half. Only 150 ODIs, 154 or whatever that number is.
155.
Is it a function of not having played enough, or is it a skill issue? What is it?
I don't think it's a skill issue. If it was a skill issue, you wouldn't have seen so many players playing in different leagues, as an overseas player. So I don't think it's a skill issue. The automatic entry in the World Cup, I don't think it's helping them. I think that's something which they can think of, because by doing that, they are neither playing with the B sides or the qualifying sides, or they are not playing with the international sides, the bigger sides also. So I think obviously they need more one-day games to improve their game. And how can you improve your game? Is by playing against the superior side. That's when you will get a fact check. That's when you will know that which level we need to go to. That's something which Afghanistan will have to look at, to play more games against superior side. And with that, they will have to keep on playing with the other sides also, because you don't want to just lose games when you're playing in superior sides. You want to gain confidence as well by playing with the sides which are not the 8-tier or 8-year sides. Or so I think it has to be a mix of both, but I don't think that automatic entry is helping them in improving their one-day cricket.
Well, yes, they have lost their last 8 ODIs. Is there something specific that the ICC can do to ensure that teams like Afghanistan raise their game? It's been a decade and a half. That's a long, long time. This is their 3rd World Cup in conditions that are familiar to them. Of course, the last 2 World Cups in slightly alien conditions. This is their record. In the last 8, they've played only against Asian sides. How do they pull themselves out of that hole?
By winning games. There is no other way of tackling this situation. You got to have that belief in your abilities. You have to set those kind of markers and goals for yourself, and then go flat out. I think Afghanistan is a far better team than this. What is on display? They've shown those signs earlier also. It's just about finding that spark again. Yeah. So that is something which we'll have to wait and see. Maybe the pattern which they're approaching, they need that 1 or 2 really quick bowlers. That is something which is missing in that squad. You got great quality spinners, but over the years you've not had that impactful bowler who can turn things around for you, and you got to be more consistent with the bat. So that also has been patchy. I think their batting in between was giving those signs that okay, maybe 1 or 2 more batters and they'll be able to make that impact. They're still searching for it. And that consistency, if you're not achieving, when teams are around you which are setting new benchmarks, you are going to fall short. Yeah. So I think the process around that, finding the right talent, exposing them to the right conditions, yep, and getting them ready for the highest level is something which they'll have to think of and how they can achieve it.
In Reece Topley, England found a new star, replaced Moeen Ali in that last game. Picked up 3 with the new ball, 4 wickets in all of his 10 overs. Tall man, 6'7", he will come really hard at the Afghanistanis. When he bowls with that new ball, 6'7" is his height and releases from much higher. What is that angle like to face?
It's very high.
We should be answering that question, not him. What is that angle?
I wonder what it's like. It's going to first floor se aa rahi hai ball.
I'll get you in the net.
I am not ever going to take that risk of facing you. But what did you make of Reece Topley? He was part of the RCB, I think, got injured at the IPL. We couldn't see much of him. But on World Cup,
I would have liked to see him start the World Cup. England was little defensive when they didn't start the World Cup with him in that first game against New Zealand. But that one change has worked for them. So they will persist with that now. He's a quality bowler, has got the variations, can swing the ball both ways, and have got those variations as well, which is required in the white ball cricket. Yeah. With that height, you will always extract that extra bounce, and that's what you've seen against Bangladesh. So even today's game, I think against this batting lineup, that extra bounce is something which the batters are not used to, and if you're not used to, you will always find it very difficult in the match scenario. Yeah. And that is a challenge which is always going to be there. So Reece Topley is another bowler. If England is bowling first, they'll expect him to do that damage with the new ball, set the tone for the game. And the plan is very simple, isn't it? Get them all out as soon as possible, and then look to chase down that total as early as possible, because net run rate will come into play, and I think England from today's game will be thinking about that net run rate as well.
That Topley angle for you, Parthiv?
Yeah, it is difficult for any shorter player, because basically what you're trying to do is you always try and see bowler's hand, and if it's coming from that height, you usually look at this way, and that's where actually your balance shifts. That's when your weight goes in slightly on a back foot, so that you can't come in to front that quickly that you do with usually with a normal angle. So I think that is something which is difficult, and plus the bounce which Zach spoke about. I think bounce is something is you get it because that's always an advantage, because the higher it comes from there and gets a higher bounce as well. So it is a difficult angle, and plus he's a lefty. So a lot of things are in his favor, and he's got pace as well. And that is the reason why everyone felt that England's thinking in batting is attacking, but England's thinking in bowling was slightly defensive by not bringing in Reece Topley so early. So yes, I think taller bowlers always help.
Caddick, the tallest you faced?
No, I think Flintoff. Flintoff was the tallest. I don't remember tall bowlers.
He smacked them all. Smacked them all over. Parthiv Patel, top of the order. Joy Factor is up next. I've been told it's a really difficult one that Mr. Bhattacharya has sent us. Let's take a look at today's Joy Factor question. If Brendan McCullum has 101, Mr. Gavaskar has 106, Marco 107, and Alan Border 153, who is on top and with how many? Could that be slip catches? Could that be catches? Slip catches maybe?
Yeah, could be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
They all seem like slip fielders to me.
McCullum could be catches. Yeah.
Yeah, could be catches. You've got, I'm not going to say 7 hours because it's Afghanistan playing, with due respect to them, they're batting first. So 2 innings is all you have to crack the code and send us your answers. That's it for now. England bowling first, Afghanistan batting first. Predictions, first innings.
I think smallish ground, I would go with 260.
Okay.
I was going to go 250. I'll go 240.
I like the look of Reece Topley, so I'm going to say 181.
Oh, you need an early finish.
No, I'm
you
happy
want to go home early.
I'm very happy, especially after yesterday. We're done with Cricbuzz Live. It's been a happy conversation with the two lefties who are always right. We'll see you at the 15 over mark on Cricbuzz Combox. Enjoy the innings. See you then.